Hello again, it's Garson, and today we're coming on down to the show, the Glamour Bards show. We've got the whole gang here. They pulled in quite a crowd, but of course, we're not just here to play some music. We're here to command the battle, right? So, I can charm Cuthbert here. He said, wow, that was a great show, I love it. Oh yeah, and I said, that's great, now grovel. You must grovel. Well, that pissed somebody off, didn't it? We also have cool little ideas here, like, you know, we can always beguile somebody with an arrow, like our little Cupid's arrow. And now we can cause a command to halt. Oh yeah? That's not all that casted attention. Let's see. How about we get into a little trouble here? Okay. So how about what I'll do is cast some inspiration on everybody, and we'll see if Cuthbert wants to attack any of us now that we're inspired. Come on, buddy. Oh, you've hit me. Well, now you're charmed. You can't hit me again. So he goes for somebody else. And if you hit somebody with Mantle, well, guess what? I can cause you to do a command. How about I drop your weapon? How about that? There you go. Now you're defenseless. And Shadowheart, what do you think about that? Oh, I think that's great, because now I'm going to use a little shilly-dilly. I'm going to go ahead and bonk this guy on the head. Donk! Alright. How about you? Ready for battle? Perfect. Okay. So, like I said, you can always manually charm somebody. There we go. And if you get the charm off, you can make them flee. Yeah. Run for the hills, buddy. Oh, no! Where are you going? Bonk. So, as you can see, Glamour Bard's a bit of a control freak, but that's just great. So we're going to reload, replay the song, and as always, I'm going to bust out some notes. We'll get into it. This will be a pretty brief one because I'm compiling your questions for patch 8, and so I figured I'd cover this subclass and what I know about it. I'm not a pro or an expert at it, but I think this is going to be fun and might change your idea of the subclass, get you hyped for it, all right? As always, though, a big thank you to you guys. You guys helped me get access to the patch 8 stress test, and I'm trying to answer questions or preview stuff for you, give you ideas, so when it rolls out, hopefully soon, we'll have some good ways to play through the game, all right? So, if you want to support the channel, we'll save it towards the end. For now, let's grab their attention with the new Glamour Bard, and you can kind of follow along here on the right-hand side as I go through the sections. You can cut around the video if you need to, okay? So, patch 8 is subject to change, though. I always have to say this. This is obviously, you know, in working order, top left, stress test. I don't have any control over this stuff. I'm just here to show it off and have fun with it. But I am answering your questions. In the past couple videos, you guys gave me some cool stuff. I'm compiling new questions, so drop it in the comments or come by in the stream and help me out. We did a lot of cool experiments last night too, so go check that out. But yeah, every class gets a new subclass, and for bards, it's the Glamour Bard. So what I'll do is pull up our level 12 Glamour Bard, Gale here. I set him up as a rock and roll bard, right? But bards are full casters, so we'll kind of blitz through this real quick. But if you don't know, bards are full casters. They go all the way up to level 6 spell slots, and they do focus in on charisma in and out of combat, right? What I mean by that is in combat, you're going to spell cast with your charisma stat for your better accuracy with your spells on spell save DC, or maybe your direct spell attacks, right? And if you're out of combat, you can actually keep yourself safe from getting into combat and still get a lot of XP from just resolving things through talking. And in honor mode, I really value both, right? So charisma as a focus is a really powerful stat, especially for bards who get the ability to learn and replace spells. So they don't get to prep spells like a cleric or a druid would or a wizard, right? But they will learn a spell every level, and they can actually replace spells that they felt, maybe I don't need healing word, so I level up and replace it for a new higher level spell like freedom of movement, right? And they also get the powerful expertise. So speaking of those persuasion skills and whatnot, expertise is the double stars here. It takes your proficiency bonus and doubles it. And this isn't very available to a lot of classes, right? There's select cases where you can get expertise, and naturally if you could double this bonus of 4 to 8, it can really help you out in, say, a dialogue check where you need to deceive somebody. And like I said, in honor mode, you can't take things back, so I really value this. This is a really cool trait, but we'll talk about the rest in some other video. Song of Rest is a really good mix for bards. If you're running around with warlocks and bards and druid or monks and fighters, battle masters, right? Or arcane archers. Song of Rest gives you a whole nother short rest period, which would bring back your bardic inspirations or your battle master points and such, right? So it's great to have a bard around for that reason. And magical secrets, every bard gets at level 10 a magical secret. So this allows you to get spells you wouldn't normally get in the bard list, like counterspell. So you can kind of pinch and poke at other classes. You get 2 choices at level 10 to really customize your bard a little bit more as a spellcaster. And bardic inspiration is their special resource, their class resource. Now, what it does is on bonus action, you can enhance attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws, so it's good in and out of combat, but you can't cast it on yourself, right? But in combat, it is going to cost a bonus action and 1 bardic inspiration to do this. However, every subclass with a bard has a good way of using this in a new way, right? We're all familiar probably with the swords bard. You can use this to enhance your bow attacks or main hand attacks, right? And then, you know, lore bard can actually cripple the attacks of opponents by kind of doing the reverse of inspiration with cutting words. But a glamour bard, what can they do, right? So let's actually take a look at glamour bard, right? At the 3rd level, obviously you will take the subclass. You're missing out on all the other subclasses, so keep that in mind. But this is a very control-focused caster subclass for Bard, okay? And on leveling up, you're going to get this. So level 3, you'll get the new Mantle of Inspiration, right? So let's actually check this out real quick. Gale, if you would, let's go ahead and do a little performance ourselves. So, as always, we have Cuthbert here. We had a little coinage there. That's pretty nice. Getting paid. But bonus action on Mantle. Okay, so Mantle of Inspiration is going to use the Bardic Inspiration resource. For one of these, you can actually cast this on 2 allies, and it'll give them a little bit of temp HP. Okay, why would I do that instead of Bardic Inspiration? Well, if an attacker hits you with a melee attack, they automatically become charmed. And we'll talk about charm in a moment, but there's no saving throw for this. So I actually have an enhanced version of this because I went all the way into level 12. So what I'll do is I'll set it up on all 4 of my teammates here, okay? Now, what I'll do is have a laugh at Cuthbert's expense. There we go. He's a little mentally fatigued. And we'll give him a turn because we're so nice, right? Maybe. Alright, so he goes for a hit. And he can't hit us, naturally. Cuthbert, what's that about? Come on now. Alright, so check it out. He got charmed. Now, real quick, there's no saving throw for this. A melee attacker will become charmed. Might be some exclusions here, but we'll talk about that later. But the temporary HP really helps you take that hit. You're almost asking for them to hit your guys too. So this is a real punish when it comes to trying to attack my guys and control them, because when they're charmed, they can't come after the original spellcaster Gale here, okay? So we'll allow him to be charmed now. So you go, oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool. So he gets charmed whenever he attacks somebody melee attacker. Now that's just level 3. Or the real power that I feel if people kind of need to recognize with this subclass comes in at level 6, comboing with this effect at level 3. Remember, you could just cast this at the beginning of battle, everybody can get a little temporary HP, and now we're going to heavily punish an attacker for getting charmed by attacking my characters, okay? Because we don't have to roll to charm them. They get punished for attacking us, which means we can follow up with the new level 6 ability, Mantle of Majesty Command. This is once again a bonus action. Keep in mind you can only use this once per long rest, and we'll talk about that. But for now, what this does, it allows you to use the command spell on a bonus action, okay? Keep in mind these don't normally have a concentration, okay? But they have a variety of options and can upcast. The difference here is that Mantle, right, will be a concentration for 10 turns. Interesting. Why is that? Well, because you will automatically succeed against any charm, no saving throw, okay? So, command can do a bevy of options, but it's a wisdom save, right? However, if they're charmed, thanks to our new Bardic Inspiration ability, we can now use Mantle of Majesty and say, grovel, guaranteed. He is now prone, which makes it much easier for our melee attackers like Shadowheart here. She gets advantage now on a prone character in melee range, okay? And there's a few other options, obviously, but why the concentration? Because you have 10 turns of this, and you can choose any command you want, and they're bonus actions, which means you can actually manually use your action to charm, or charm a lot of people, right? And then choose any one of them to command to drop, grovel, flee, drop their weapon, so on and so forth. You get 10 turns of this after the initial first cast if you can keep the concentration, okay? So Mantle now targets 3 allies. So that Mantle we did can now be set up preemptively or during combat for a bonus action, 1 inspiration, 3 targets. So you have 3 targets that could potentially cause an enemy in melee range to be automatically charmed, and you can punish them heavily with a command, okay? So at level 10 though, you can now target 4. That's how I was able to target 4 with my Mantle of Majesty on Gale being level 12. And it's also an upgrade to temporary HP. So it's even easier to take those hits and punish somebody in return and get those commands. So let's talk a little bit about charm and command itself. Because like I said, it doesn't really cost an action, like concentration. So if I wanted to, I can come on over here, Aronson. I can already, if I have a really good spell save DC, right? I can tell him, hey, come on over here. All right. So next turn, he's actually going to come over here. And I'm also going to skip the Grovel's turn, okay? So now I have him commanded, and I have him commanded. Let's say I use an arrow, and I beguile him, right? Once again, since I'm concentrating on Mantle of Majesty, I can now just tell, you know what? I want you to run, Cuthbert. And now he must do that. He's guaranteed to do that. Meanwhile, my regular command on action has already caused Aronson to approach me, right? So now I'm controlling the way my enemies decide to move around. And if I set up my team correctly, he's going to run right into a free opportunity attack. And there's nothing he can do about that, right? Now he's going to come towards me, which is great because now he's closer to Minthara in the position I want. I'll charm him again with her arcane arrow. She's charmed. Or he's charmed rather, and now I can say, you know what, I don't want you getting closer with a weapon though. I want you to drop that, and he must drop it because he's charmed. He has to do what I tell him to, okay? So this is all working based off of the charm condition, which in and of itself I have to say isn't that special, but you can manually charm people with a spell. All right, let's actually take a look at the charm condition here. When you charm a humanoid with the spell, right? Charm is going to be, you can't attack the original spellcaster, and out of combat, if you were to talk to somebody with a charisma check, you'd have advantage on them. That's probably more of what charm is good at. Then again, you can always just use the friends cantrip. However, in battle, with certain subclasses like this, charm can be used to control the battlefield. And now, thanks to this subclass, it can be used as a way to like, on command people to do what you want them to, right? So no other subclass really has this, and funny enough, new subclasses like Arcane Archer have new ways of getting this effect to pop off, right, while doing damage, for instance. So the condition itself means you can't attack whoever charmed you, but it will end if you took damage, which is really funny in the case of Beguiling Arrow, right? Because I'm damaging you first and then charming you. So you don't want to damage them once you charm them, right? And you have the advantage on charisma checks, sure. But there's also Charm the spell, which is a level 1 spell, right? The good thing about the charm spell itself is it's not a concentration, right? But it is a wisdom saving throw. You only target one person with level 1. However, you can target all the way up to 6 targets with the spell slots. So if I want, I can manually charm with an action. I can upcast to charm 2. These guys cannot attack me now if they're charmed by me, right? And as long as I don't attack them, right, I have them charmed for a little bit. So it only targets humanoids though. As far as the charm spell goes, it only targets humanoids, so no bears or whatnot, unless your subclass has a feature to do that, right? So it causes the charm condition, obviously we talked about that, and it can cause it for 10 turns. So until I'm ready to do something with him, I'm pretty much safe from his attacks, unless he gets a wisdom saving throw and I don't get it off, right? You can upcast for more targets, but you don't have to concentrate on this. So this is actually a really big deal here, but I will admit charm isn't the best spell in the world. until maybe now, because command itself is also a very powerful spell. We can see what it's doing as a bonus action as long as we focus on this for 10 turns, right? But if you had high enough spell save DC anyway, on action, you can actually land your command pretty reliable, and just like Charm, you can actually upcast this to make like 5 targets, 6 targets do what you want them to do. Again, it's not a concentration spell, so this is a level 1 spell. You have a lot of powerful options to manipulate your enemies, right? The wisdom saving throw can be eventually overcome pretty easily, especially in the later game, right? And you can upcast for more targets to all at once do this. But like, why not have both? If you don't have to concentrate on this or this, and you can combo it into this or the happen chance of this. This is the power of Glamour Bard, right? Mantle is where all the power lies, because if you can inspire your allies, they don't mind taking a little bit of damage, you know, with the temporary HP, and once they've punished somebody by charming them, you can now guarantee a punish using flee and whatnot, okay? So if I end the turn, you can attack her, but you can't attack me, right? And then what's he gonna do? He picked up his weapon. He had to waste an action to equip that, by the way. That's why he's not attacking anything. Okay, and what if you had a whole team of Glamour Bards, right? So I'll just use your Glamour Bard ability. It doesn't matter that Gale charmed them as long as they have the charm condition. You're groveling, and we have another Glamour Bard here. So, same thing. I didn't use this, but I'll certainly end up abusing it. And everybody is now groveling at my feet, okay? So, you use your bonus actions, right? If you use them correctly, maybe set up early with a Mantle of Inspiration, you can punish those attackers now that they've attacked your allies, and you can ignore saving throws and guarantee very powerful command options. And you have 10 turns of concentrating on this, so obviously concentration is a big reason. I think what people have kind of criticized this about, I'm not here to talk about that. I don't know how good this is in practice. I'm currently running other subclasses, but I can already tell, if used correctly, the reason this is on long rest is because this is highly abusable when used correctly, and I think it's just a little tough sometimes to first roll into this game and know what can combo with each other, right? But that's what I'm here to do. So let's get into some build ideas. Thanks, Tim. Let's have some build ideas, all right? So bear with me. Like I said, I don't run this subclass yet. I'm still doing my first run with the patch, okay? But I think you should preempt fights with Inspire like we did earlier and set up charms a little bit more with the bonus action if you're, like right now, for instance, okay? We'd have a bonus action to use, everybody's already controlled, and we're missing like a charm or two or an Inspire or two, right? So I'll reset these because I'll get them back on short rest anyway. Give some temporary HP out, helps my team survive, and also punish the next round of attackers, right? And then next turn, if somebody gets charmed, I'll use my bonus action to command them with this, okay? And of course, you could always cast manually Charm Person, and later on you can have some more stronger spells like, you know, maybe I'll just make this guy dance now. And now he's controlled. Come on. Alright, I want to see you dance. Come on, dance for me, Arnson. So you can have a lot of fun controlling stuff with this subclass, right? So let me actually look at these guys for you. Again, this build time is not going to be specifics, but concepts, ideas. I don't want to give you information that I've run these. They're really good, but I'm going to probably test out some of these myself, including a level 12 Glamour Bard in the stream on honor mode, okay? So what I did, as always, I'm just going to show you level 12 first. If we go all the way into the Bard, you've already seen a lot of what it can do, but just note what's going on here. Let me step away from the crowd here. What's going on here is that we have those powerful spell slots and spell abilities at level 6 level. You can do things like Otto's Irresistible Dance, you can do Planar Ally, Dominate Person, and so on and so forth. All these other powerful bard spells you can already normally get. Plus, you can actually get Command at level 10 as a magical secret. This actually isn't normally a bard spell, so you can mix that in so you always have more commands with the mantles and the inspirations and the charms, right? Okay, so level 6 also allows us to cast to the highest level and target 6 people, so even more options to command things. Magical Secrets gives us the ability to have Counterspell or any other spells you might want to mix in here. I said earlier we could do Counterspell and Command. Those were the two Magical Secrets I chose. I felt it really fits. Mantle for 4 allies. For investing deeper into this, you may think, wow, that's really unimpressive after level 6. But actually, for 1 Bardic Inspiration, I personally think the ability to give myself more chances and protect more allies for 1 short rest resource, right, that I can just keep using throughout the battle, that's a lot of more chances that my melee attackers are going to get controlled, right? More uses of my Mantle of Majesty. But even when mantles run out, or I'm in a fight where I feel I don't want to use this just yet, because this is my powerful long rest ability, I still have powerful spell slots to control the battlefield with Tasha's, with Irresistible Dance. I have freedom of movement with combos well with difficult terrain like Growth, right? Okay. And you can always manually charm. I'm trying to show the benefit of using your actions to control with spells, and use Mantle or the Inspire with your bonus action. So you should really always have cards to play between these. And if you took something as powerful as, say, Counterspell, you even have something to do with your reaction, okay? So you have a lot of control with this character. Aim for Charisma and high spell save DC. Even though early on, like level 3 and 6, you're going to have the benefit of automatically passing and making commands happen with the charm effect, later on you're really going to want high spell save DC so that your other spells like Otto's Dance are more than likely going to land, right? Well, Otto's 100, but you know what I meant. Dominate person, 99% here. Yeah, pretty crazy. Mental Fatigue and Psychic. Just because I'm more of a control freak and I have more control spells, less damaging spells, setting up for others, that doesn't mean I can't damage. To be honest, we have the Steeped in Bliss condition. We double Psychic in a 30 feet radius. So Vicious Mockery is actually a vicious cantrip. And the spell... Dissonant Whispers can also double up its damage. Cause Frightening. This is a control spell and damage spell all in one. And when you do any kind of psychic damage, thanks to these gloves, you get Mental Fatigue, which rolls into using those other Wisdom saving throw spells. Mental Fatigue basically gives them a debuff so that their Wisdom saving throw, right, would be even lower than this. And it can go all the way up to 4 or even 5 and debuff somebody, making it very likely that you're going to cast Dominate person or whatnot, or even a manual command, okay? And of course, I set them up as a rock and roll. I think Glamour Bard, you hear the word and you go, oh, that's whatever, I don't really care about that. But when I hear Glamour, I'm like, don't you want to be a rock and roll dude who, like, commands the battlefield, ripping it loose, playing some rhythms? So I think this is honestly what I thought Bard was all the time. It's funny that it's coming in a new subclass. Okay, so let's look at Minthara. I'm going to actually, we've already seen Gale a pretty good amount. Let me show you Minthara. I think this is a really cool idea for a subclass or a mix of multiclassing, right? This is Cupid's Arrow. What we've done is gone Glamour first so we can get that Mantle and then that command. And then we went Arcane Archer, because Arcane Archer, whether it's your multiclass or is on the team with the Glamour Bard, can create a beguiling arrow. So as long as you have good intelligence, you should be able to get this shot to go off, right? So we're going to need to be able to land our attack with good dexterity, and then we're going to need intelligence to land the effect of the beguiling arrow. But if you have that thing covered, then honestly, you can do damage and you can charm somebody like that. And that's a powerful combo. Now, if you go all the way 12 levels, right, or you've evolved the character, right? So with this Mantle ability, on my action, I get 2 attacks. I could potentially target 2 attackers, right? Charm them offensively with damage, right? And then what I can do is make them grovel so that the rest of my team can, dogpile and destroy them. So also thematically, it's a Cupid's arrow. You're charming people with a bow and arrow. It's cool, right? So maybe go 6 to get Mantle of Command, evolve into an archer, and by level 9 you can go Arcane Archer, pick up this beguiling arrow, and now you have the 1-2 punch, right? Beguiling arrows are pretty powerful. Like I said, they do psychic damage, and we can double that damage up, which is pretty crazy thanks to the Steeped in Bliss condition, causing everybody to be vulnerable to psychic damage. So you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck, and it's cool to see like your Glamour Bard become more of an offensive martial archer attacker, right? So you can follow up arrows with command using your action and then your bonus action. And to make matters even crazier, if you don't have this or you run out of stuff, you can still have regular spell casting and regular arrow shots. For instance, let me go ahead and skip a turn. Now, thanks to the the Ring of Mystic Scoundrel. Okay, that's okay. We can also charm with maybe Illithid powers, but you do you. Alright, he's already charmed. We can already command him. That's cool. What I was figuring is also, if you run out of arcane arrows, you can get them back on your Song of Rest, for instance. They come back with your Bardic Inspiration. You're having a real good time there. But, Mystic Scoundrel, right? So, what you can do is hit with a weapon effect, or a weapon attack. And now Mystic Scoundrel will make enchantment and illusion spells, right, a bonus action. So if you don't want to use your mantle just yet, but you still want to control things like with hold spell, there you go. You can attack, and then you can control, and you get another attack as a fighter, right? And even crazier is action surge. Uh-oh. Here we go. And kaboom! Tons of damage with psychic arrows. So you have more short rests for your fighter and your bardic inspirations, and it's thematic. I just like it. It's cool. Okay. And then lastly, we do have Shadowheart. She's a superstar. She's actually the new star druid we just talked about, plus the Glamour Bard. She's a half-half split. You're still a full caster because you're 6 full caster and 6 full caster. You still get all the spell slots. And you get those utility druid spells even if you're focused on charisma. Even better, the Shillelagh cantrip that makes your staff into a melee weapon using your wisdom. If you do it correctly and you take Bard second, right? Here, let me get Gale to move a little bit. Okay. But if you do this combo correctly and take Bard after you take Druid, your spell modifier is Charisma. So I'm literally going to use Charisma on my Shillelagh. Okay? So this is now using my +4 for attack and damage. You can see that right here using Charisma. So it's like Pact of the Staff instead of, you know, Pact of the Blade. So Bard chosen uses Charisma. If you choose it second, we can use the dragon form to keep up that concentration, right? So between being charmed and not attacking us, but also having this dragon form, having ridiculous concentration saving throws, you're probably not going to lose your concentration on the mantle. And we can once again use Mystic Scoundrel, whether we're using mantle or not. If we bonk people with our staff, we can use Vicious Mockery or Hold Person as a follow-up with our bonus actions. Plus, you're glamorous, you're glittering is pretty cool, right? So we have Cuthbert right here. Like I said, our staff now uses Charisma. We're pretty accurate. We can do a reverb set, make things even worse, right? All right, and then Shadowheart, she can, let's see. Let me throw out some inspiration to my allies. With 6, I can go up to 3 targets. Let's see who hits me. Alright. Oh, he's charmed. Here we go. Uh-oh. Alright. So thanks to Mantle, now if you think about it, I can use the command as my bonus action first, make him grovel. There we go. And since I like to bonk people with my staff, I can punish him with a whack, right? And his reverb is going to make him even worse. So, just ideas to think about. Even if Shadowheart was going to get hit here, thanks to the dragon form, I can't roll any lower than a 10 on concentration. And then you add that massive 11. I don't think I'm getting knocked out of this grovel or command concentration, right? So just things to think about. Like I said, not full builds, anything here to show you, but I will be running these in honor mode on the stream because how do you even level up and play these? These are all level 12, right? What is it really good? Well, we're going to find out when I run it on the second run. We'll probably run a Glamour Bard. Right now, I'm running some of the other new subclasses in honor mode, so you guys can tell maybe you like it, you want to try it out yourself when the patch rolls out. But I also want to answer your questions with the new patch, so if you're interested in Glamour Bard or don't quite get something, I want to answer it, trust me. Or if you have other cool ideas and you want to see the different subclasses, let me know in the comments because you guys are my sponsors, and I really appreciate you guys watching, and we've had a lot of fun in the recent streams. Just messing around with the patch. Honestly, it's crazy. If you want to directly support the channel, just it's as low as it's going to get here on YouTube, and I really appreciate that. But my favorite support is just you having some fun, and maybe, just maybe, you might look at Glamour Bard a little differently, like, whoa, I'm going to run one of those, okay? So you guys have a blessed one. I'll see you in the stream. Until then, take it easy, guys.